All right, the president, as usual, briefing this morning before he departed for the National Gallery of Art, where he and Mrs. Bush are visiting the Gilbert Stuart exhibition. Then he'll return back here, and over in the we'll have a photo release from the visit to the National Gallery of Art. When he returns back here later this morning, he has an event in the East Room to honor the recipients of the Presidential Rank Award of Distinguished Executive. This is for people within the senior executive service within government that have shown exceptional performance over an extended period of time. And following that, the president, this is in addition to the schedule, the president will be going to the Egyptian embassy here in town, where he will sign the condolences book. And I expect he might have a few words to say there as well. That'll be, well, right after that, probably around 11:30ish, plus or minus a few minutes. And we put out a statement on the attacks that occurred there on Saturday, and the president, as you are aware, spoke with President Mubarak as well. This afternoon, the president will participate in a meeting with African American leaders over in the Roosevelt Room. We'll have a photo release from that, I expect. Well, it includes some faith-based and community leaders. The president, I don't have all the names with me. We can get you that information. We can get you that information later. Well, we'll get you that information. I just don't have it all in front of me. But the president, I expect, will talk about our commitment to Africa, talk about the faith-based and community initiative, and we're also moving forward on a summit next March. We're still working on all the details. But it'll be a corporate and philanthropic summit in Washington next year. This is something the president committed to doing back in May of 2001, and it was postponed that year because of the attacks of September 11th. But he'll be talking to them about that as well. We're still working out all the details on that summit. One announcement to make on Mrs. Bush's schedule. She was traveling to Florida tomorrow. She is going to Orlando to participate in some Helping America's Youth events. She is now also going to be traveling to see the launch of the Space Shuttle Discovery. So that's an update to her schedule. I'm scheduled to brief at 12:30 today, and I think State's at 12:15, and that's what I've got to begin with. I don't know. That's up to them. Well, yeah, we'll see on that.
Who did Andy Card notify when he was told by Alberto Gonzalez that there was an investigation of the CIA leak?
You should go back and look at my October 1st, 2003 briefing. I actually talked about it on that day. So there's nothing new in terms of what the Attorney General was saying yesterday.
Well, when he said, maybe I don't have that in front of me. Maybe you can.
But you can go get it off our website. It's all there.
You don't recall it yourself?
No, I do recall, but as we've indicated previously, you know what our answer is on these questions.
Well, why can't you repeat it if we don't know what you said?
Because I addressed it all at the time, Helen.
Effort to just say?
I addressed it all at the time. Oh, go ahead.
Does the administration think there's any link between London and the Egyptian?
The Attorney General talked about that yesterday, and both those investigations are continuing. We have offered assistance to both the authorities in London as well as the authorities in Egypt, and he said it's too early to draw any conclusions about who is responsible for the attacks.
What's the card briefing again? What date?
October 1st, 2003. I actually talked about everything he said yesterday at that time. Go ahead, John.
In this morning's Post and in last week's, that's Thursday's New York Times, there are detailed accounts of the president's meeting with potential Supreme Court nominees before he picked Judge Roberts for the position. When and if another vacancy comes up, are we to assume that the same people he has spoken to already, and I presume have been scrutinized by the administration and the Office of the Presidential Counsel, will be on the short list for the next Supreme Court vacancy?
Well, when and if a vacancy occurs, then we can talk about it at that time. But, we are prepared if there are any additional vacancies. We've been preparing since early on in this administration for potential vacancies, but I'm not aware of any other vacancy at this point.
But those are the names that would be considered then?
I'm sorry?
Those are the same names that he.
Well, I
called
said
earlier.
if and when there's a vacancy, we can talk about it at that point, but there's not one at this point.
In the
It's just
vetting
all
pro-
speculative at this point.
In the vetting process, to what degree did the public writings or associations involving Mrs. Roberts come into play?
Judge Roberts is the one the president nominated. I don't know what your question is in terms of his
Some people
wife.
have raised questions about some of her positions, and in the vetting process, did that include spouses?
Well,
to have-
what's your suggestion though, or what's the suggestion?
Well, the suggestion is that she may
Abortion
be
rights.
more publicly pro-life because she's done some pro bono work for a group of.
Senator Kennedy said that she is off. That I think his words were that she ought to be off limits, and she is someone who is an accomplished lawyer in her own right, and she ought to be able to participate in organizations that she so chooses. But Judge Roberts is the one that the president nominated to this position, and I think even you've heard from even Democratic leaders saying that she should be off limits.
My question was more, not so much if her issues are at issue, to be redundant there, but was the spouse of any of these nominees a part of the vetting process?
A part of the vetting process?
Yes.
I mean, there are background information that you do on nominees during the vetting process, and but in the terms that you're suggesting, no. Go ahead.
The Financial Times quotes Treasury Secretary Snow as saying he expects China to reevaluate its currency in August ahead of a trip here in September by Hu Jintao. Do you have dates on Hu Jintao's visit to the White House?
As you know, if we got something to announce, we will do so.
Someone else will announce it.
Yeah.
And what's the latest state of play on the North Korean talks?
Well, the talks are the six-party talks are set to begin tomorrow, and our representatives are in Beijing for those talks. All five parties are saying in North Korea that we want to see a denuclearized peninsula and that we need to make progress toward that goal in these six-party talks, and that's what we want to see is progress toward the goal that we all share.
Did the president call any of the other four partners ahead of the talks just to
No,
make
there's
sure we're all on the same
there's no
page?
update on his calls. No.
What would
Go ahead, Bob.
characterize what would progress be? How will we tell if there's been any progress?
Well,
Talks
Assistant
about-
Secretary Hill has been in the region. He's been talking about what we want to see, and he's been talking to reporters. And what we want to see is serious progress toward the goal of a denuclearized peninsula.
What is that, an
That's
agreement
what
that the talks
that's what.
should
Well,
be-
let
last more than one day?
let me leave it to our representatives in the region to talk more about it. They are talking more about it to the press, and let's let those talks take place. But we want to see.
Officials today.
What I would say is we want to see substantive progress, and that's what we want to see.
Hill met with North Korean officials today. Was there any result of those talks?
No, those are not negotiations. I think that our delegation has been having bilateral contacts with all the other parties in the context of these six-party talks. But those are
What
not.
was the purpose
But those
of
are
the
not.
meeting today?
Those are
I
not.
mean, the schedule was already set.
But those are not negotiations. Well, you have comments from the Assistant Secretary, I think. So go ahead.
Scott, has the White House asked for, or does it want another vote on the John Bolton nomination before the congressional recess?
Nothing that's changed in terms of what we've said previously. Go ahead.
How would you describe the president's relationship with organized labor, and what does the president think of today's apparent defections within the AFL-CIO?
Well, we haven't really discussed it. I mean, I think that's a
Checked by-
political matter that they're addressing. So, go ahead.
Scott, on the Black African American leaders coming, why are they coming, and is this meeting going to be any different than the previous meetings, I guess, end of last year or beginning of this year? And will Karl Rove be in the meeting again like he was the last one?
I don't know. I'll be there. I'll see. I don't know.
But he was very pivotal.
I'll be there. I'll let you know.
The last time when many of the black leaders came out, they were reeling about the fact that Karl Rove.
I mean, I think this is one that Jim Tuohy's been instrumental in setting up. But the president regularly meets with African American leaders and leaders from all communities, and so this is part of his ongoing meetings to talk about some of our important priorities. Like I said, he's going to be talking about our commitment to Africa, and I imagine he'll talk about the G8 summit and the progress that we made there when it comes to debt relief and moving forward on our HIV/AIDS initiative, and I imagine he'll talk about how we can work together on the faith-based and community initiative. And, well, I gave you a general overview what I expect him to talk about, and let's let the meeting take place.
But many of the black leaders last time were very enthused that Carl Rove was agreeing with everything they had to say, thought it was a very good meeting, and this should happen again. Is this somewhat at the impetus of Carl Rove, and will Carl Rove
No,
be
it's
back
at,
at this meeting?
it's at the impetus of the president. This is a meeting for the president to discuss with African American leaders some of our shared priorities, like Africa and our faith-based and community initiative and other priorities.
Scott, has all the publicity helped Judge Roberts refresh his memory about whether or not he was a member of the Federalist Society?
No, he has no recollection of ever being a member of the organization. He has participated in events and given speeches at Federalist Society forums, and he's talked about that in the past, I believe, but he doesn't recall ever paying dues or being a member of the organization. I think what's important to keep in mind for the American people is that he is someone who is exceptionally well qualified and an individual who will apply the law in an impartial and fair manner. And I think that's what's important for the American people to know.
Yeah, does it strike you
I don't
as
think that was a membership role that was referenced in
that
the article.
directory, there was a directory that was published,
Yeah.
by Post today.
Yeah, no, I'm just telling you, he doesn't have any recollection of ever being a member. But like I said, he has participated in events and given speeches at Federalist Society
And
forums.
nobody thinks that's odd that he doesn't remember if he was or not?
Well, like I said, I can tell you what he recalls. He doesn't recall ever paying dues or being a member. Go ahead.
Scott, did the president sign off on NASA's decision to launch a shuttle even if one of the fuel gauges the sensors is faulty, which is not what their normal...
Yeah, let me check on the latest. I mean, in terms of NASA has said that they're going ahead with the launch tomorrow, that those are all issues that the experts at NASA look at and take into account. And I think that Administrator Griffin is the best one to look to for comment in terms of all those issues and what he has said. I'll see if there's anything additional from our end.
Scott, should we expect the president to, in view of his flexible schedule this week, to have members down to hasten action on things such as the energy bill or the highway bill or anything? Which would
He spoke to the 4 leaders of the Energy Conference Committee yesterday. He called them from Camp David yesterday morning and thanked them for their efforts and all their hard work to get an agreement on energy legislation this week. The president urged them to continue moving forward so that we could get comprehensive energy legislation passed before they leave for the August recess. That's one important priority. We need to act to reduce our dependence on foreign sources of energy. We also have the highway legislation, which has been making substantial progress. The members of Congress have been making substantial progress on the highway legislation in the conference committee as well. And there's the Central American and Dominican Republican Free Trade Agreement, which they're moving forward on this week. The House is looking to have a vote on that later this week. So these are 3 very important and pressing priorities that we are working very closely with members of Congress to get done before they leave town. And the president has had a number of meetings with members on the Central American Free Trade Agreement. I suspect he will continue to be in contact with members of Congress as we move ahead this week on those important priorities. And whether that's calls or meetings, we will keep you posted. And with that, I will see you all later this afternoon. Thank you.